Welcome to Cycle World, welcome to Spain, welcome to the launch of two models from Triumph. These are the new 1200 Speed Twins. We've got the RS and we've got the standard model. And I wish Triumph had given it a different name rather than the Speed Twin standard model. Maybe it should have been stock or retro. But anyway, I digress. What Triumph have done for 2025 is just improve the bikes in a few areas and given us two different variants. So firstly, the engine, it's familiar parallel twin 1200 as you'd expect, but now it's got slightly different engine cases. It looks a little bit different, but more importantly, they've added a little bit more power, so it revs a little bit more, and we've got around 5 brake horsepower on top of what we had before. Torque remains the same. In terms of looks, I think it looks absolutely stunning, and Triumph have put some real attention and detail. It's got a lovely little new brushed aluminium fuel cap, new headlight, new Bluetooth connectivity clocks, that's single rather than the twin that we had before. The engine still looks retro, it's still got the air-cooled fins, even though it's obviously got a radiator. They've got the really swooping, beautiful exhaust that's a little bit shorter than it was before, and that's an incredibly difficult job, because you've got to remember that's a Euro 5 category exhaust, so all the catalytic converter and all the bits that keep people in Parliament happy that this isn't polluting the world is all hidden, so it still looks like something from the 70s. The side panels are all new, it's all brushed aluminium, it looks very high-end, it looks very neat, it looks very well finished, and I love the fact that despite this now having cornering ABS, despite it now having cornering traction control, and in there is an IMU and lots of rider aids and sensors, it's all hidden. There's no huge plumbing from the radiator, there's no wires hanging around and sensors. It's very neatly and very well done. Then what Triumph have done is given us two variants rather than just one variant. So we have the standard, which is Marzocchi non-adjustable front, Marzocchi twin shock on the rear, 2 rider modes, cornering ABS and traction control, no quick shifter, and a very relaxed riding position. Then we've got the very stunning, beautiful RS, which is fully adjustable Marzocchi, fully adjustable twin shocks on the rear, the standard Triumph branded brakes, and now Brembo stylemas. We get an extra mode, we get a quick shifter, and with that extra mode, which is a sports mode, we can play a little bit more with the traction control because there's 3 options rather than 2 options. Before you ask, you can't put the quick shifter from that one onto that one because the riding position where the pegs are further back gives you more room to add the quick shifter. So you can't put the quick shifter on the standard bike, sadly. You can only put it on the RS that's got the pegs further back and the bars slightly lower. In terms of power, torque, both the same. In terms of wheelbase and rake and trail, they're near enough identical, the same frame. It's just suspension, brakes and a few more electronics. Started off the day on the Speed Twin 1200. Instantly you feel that it's a different bike. It feels very soft, it feels very comfortable, it feels very relaxed, but it's not a Bonneville. So the Bonneville is really soft and it's quite easy to get to the limits of the ground clearance. It's quite easy to get to the limits of the chassis because it's not designed to be a sports bike. This is very different. The Speed Twin is much more agile, it's got more ground clearance, you can have a lot of fun. The road biased Metzler tyres warm up well, work really well. It's an excellent all-round road bike. And after riding it for 2-3 hours, I was very comfortable, the suspension is very soft, it's very manageable. You can get towards the limitations if you're braking really heavy into second gear like hairpins. You have to use 4 fingers on the lever. And if you start to push it, it does feel a bit soft. But then you jump on the RS, and the RS feels very different to the Speed Twin, even though it's the same power, it's the same torque, and near enough the same wheelbase and everything. It's just that this feels way more sporty. It shouldn't do, because they've got the same power. But when you're on the RS, the pegs are higher, the riding position is more aggressive, the chassis is much more sporty, the tyres are much sportier. They're track-ready Metzlers. The ground clearance is even more, even though I never touch the pegs down, it just feels like you can throw it into the corner, really lean it on its side and have some fun. It is so much more fun and so much more agile, and the brakes are really stronger. I did get to the limitation of the standard brakes on a few occasions, where I never got to the limitations of the standard brakes of the stylemas. I did get to the limitations of the handling of the standard bike when I was pushing it beyond its design parameters, but I never got to the limitations of the handling of the RS. I think the only way you're going to get towards the limitations of the RS is if we take that on track. And that might sound crazy, but it's more than capable of going on track. I think that would be a great fun bike. It'd be interesting to see what touches down first, the pegs or the exhaust. But in terms of what that bike can do, it's hugely, hugely enjoyable. Negatives, It's a shame you can't put the quick shifter on that bike. You can't trim the rider aids. You've either got the traction on in one of the modes or the traction's off. So I can't go like +7 or -7. There's no engine braking control. It's pretty limited or basic electronics. There's nothing too sophisticated. It's pretty simple. But then I guess a lot of people are gonna like that because the clocks are pretty simple. The switchgear is pretty simple. It's kind of bread and butter. It's nothing too fancy. It does what it says on the tin. In terms of looks, I think it's one of the best looking bikes in this segment. It looks absolutely stunning, especially in the orange. In the US, the prices are going to be $13,595 for the standard, $15,999 for the RS. If it was my money, I'd want to go RS because I've ridden both bikes, and the RS is substantially better than the standard bike for me, who rides aggressively and rides sporty. If you don't ride aggressively, you don't ride sporty, you've got no interest in going on track, then just go for the standard model. But if you do buy the standard model, don't try the RS because then you'll feel like you're short-changed because you'll want the extra rider mode, you'll want the sporty suspension, you want the grippy tyres, and you'll want the quick shifter. So it'd be interesting to see which way the market goes. What's also going to be interesting is to see where this goes in the competition and how it goes in the US market. I think it's such a cool looking bike, it's going to be a hit just on looks alone. And in terms of competition, that's a little bit difficult because there are other retro naked bikes on the market like BMW, the Scrambler, the XSR from Yamaha, Kawasaki with a Z900 range. But I think people who want a Triumph want a Triumph. I think they want that history, I think they want the brand, I think they want that air-cooled looking engine, even though it's not air-cooled. I think that's what they want. I don't think people who want a Triumph Speed Twin 1200 are looking at an XSR Yamaha and maybe a Z900. I think they want something retro and individual, and that's what they are. I think the biggest question that most people are going to have is, do I go standard or RS? If it was me, it'd be RS. So I hope you enjoyed the watch, I hope you enjoyed the viewing. It's been a really good, fun ride. It's one of those bikes that you want in the back of your garage that you can just throw on jacket and jeans, have some fun, in perfect safety with that cornering ABS, cornering traction control, easy power, easy handling, nice and easy to ride, but still agile and fun. It's the bike that you want in the back of your garage for those sunny days when you just want to rip it up down a canyon route. But if you've got any more technical questions about either bikes, please fire them below, and please don't forget to subscribe.